Okay, good Nutrition Purim to everybody. Hope everyone is fully recovered, or at least half recovered. We're up to Mem Dalit Amid Aleph, up to Mem Dalit Amid Aleph, the Mishnah. Now we know there's three halachas regarding a Nazir. A Nazir can't anything from wine, anything from grapes. Another halacha is the halacha of haircut, the issur to take a haircut, and to be metamal mason. Those are the three things. And we're going to go ahead and have a Mishnah, and we're going to play off one from the other. We're going to play off the chumras of one and the other. Why, every halacha should apply to the other one, and we're going to see it doesn't. And the question is why not? So they're going to find something that has nothing to do with the other one to go ahead and take it out of the klal. So up to Mem Dalit Amid Aleph the Mishnah. Shloisha minem asurim ben Nazir. Three meaning that are asa bin Nazir. What are the things that are asa bin Nazir? Is hatuma, v'teglachas, v'yotzim min ha'gefen. The issur to mitamal mesim, the issur of taking a haircut, and drinking any extra from wine. It's very interesting because it's in a reverse order. In the Torah, it plays the opposite way. And chayma b'tuma u'teglachas maybe yotzim min ha'gefen. There's a chumrah of two that tum and teglachas have over yotzim min ha'gefen. What's the chumrah? Shatuma b'teglachas. His galachas soisrin the soisrin the naziris. The tuma guys is soisrin the whole naziris. Whatever you counted is soisrin. The galachas is soisrin 30 days, right? 30 days. Good. By yotzim min ha'gefen, right? It's in a soisrin. If you drink wine, it's no matter you're over in Issa, but you keep on counting. Just keep on counting. Go straight. And there's no interruption. No interruption whatsoever. So again, the chumrah of tum and teglachas is the fact that it's seiser, albeit different denominations, and the yotzim min ha'gefen is not seiser anything. And now we have chayma b'yotzim min ha'gefen maybe tum and teglachas, and conversely, that comes out of a gefen as the chumrah over tum and teglachas. Shayotzim min ha'gefen loichutru mechloloi. Yotzim min ha'gefen, there's never a heta ever. There's never a heta. For example, if you would go ahead and make a neder to drink wine. You make a neder to drink wine, sure to drink wine. So now there's a mitzvah for you to keep wine, drink wine, right? Comes along during Nazir, be aser. It's yayin shal mitzvah. The Nazir is the yotzim min ha'gefen is chaymed loichutru mechloloi. There's never a time it's mutter. It's always aser, nonetheless. However, we do have a waiver for tumah and teglachas. What is that? Right? That V'tumah v'teglachas hutrum michlalan, v'teglachas mitzvah. Guys, we had earlier in this parak a Nazir who became a mitzvah. A Nazir became a mitzvah. The mitzvah of giluach of mitzvah, right? You go ahead and you take a haircut. It's right. It's teicha. It's teicha. So there's a cloud. There's a time with the Nazir take a haircut. That's mutter. Hutrum michlaloi, right? That he was a mitzvah. Uben meis mitzvah. And what about regarding tumah? Then if he's a Nazir and he comes to a meis mitzvah, he can be tam to the meis mitzvah. So we have two places where the Nazir by Tumah and Teglachas has a waiver. By Yotzim min ha'gefen, there's never ever a waiver. There's never a waiver. So the chumrah again, the chumrah of Teglachas and Tumah is seiser, and the chumrah of Yotzim min ha'gefen is that what that is that it never has a heter. Never has a heter.
Gefen would be like by linked to the making out like by Harvard places. Would that be something?
Arbekos is the Rabbanon. We speak with Havdalah is the Rabbanon. Arbekos is the Rabbanon. But Kiddush the Rabbanon. So I gave you the Hechetimtza is with the Raisa. The Shvu is not the Shvu, but it's still a mitzvah. Once it's, I forget about the serious. I self-induce. Right now there's a mitzvah. I make a neder that I'm going to drink wine. I'm sure that I'm going to drink wine. Good. Now it's a mitzvah the Raisa to drink wine, and then you become a Nazir. The Gemara spoke about it earlier. Daf Gimel, Daf Dalet. We had the Gemara much earlier, a month ago. Over it seems like Daf Yomi anything over a week already is. There's Hashem. There's Hashem. There's Hashem. The chayme b'tumah mitlachas, a chumrah that regarding not becoming tamei over a haircut. Shatuma seiseres es hakol. And not only Seisus Hakol, the Chayav will have carbon, right? You can be Chayav, you can bring an Asham, you can be Chatas and an Oila, right? The Tiglachas in a Seisus of the Shloshim. The Tiglachas only overrides 30. Vein chayav lo carbon, and even when you're over that, you're not chayav a carbon. So we have chumras, right? We have chumras. Okay, so now the whole Gemara, guys, is going to go through and say, why doesn't the chumra one exist by the other? We're going to go back and forth. We're going to play it off back and forth. Okay, says the Gemara, the tuma like tuta nechlalai, and tuma should not be taught. In other words, you should not be able to mitama to meis mitzvah. In svara, you should not be able to mitama to meis mitzvah. In other words, there never should be a time that a nazir should be allowed to become tamei. With tuma loy tuta nechal mikal v'chaymer miyayin umayayin she'ena seiser. It doesn't seiser, right? Loy tuta nechlalai. Yet there's never a heta. Tuma sheseiseres, tuma which is seiser, einay din shlei tuta nechlalai. Is it not a kal v'chaymer that why it should not be tuta nechlalai? In other words, we have a kal v'chaymer. Madoch gefen, which has a kula that it's what. That it has a kula that it's not seiser, nonetheless, it's not muta ever. So tuma, which has a chumra that it's seiser, certainly should never have a heta, right? That's the kal v'chaymer. Says the Gemara, Tamad Loima. Therefore, the pasuk says la aviv ule imay lo yitama. It says by a kohen gadol, right? That the kohen gadol has a din like a nazir, guys. The kohen gadol has a din like a nazir, or nazir is like a kohen gadol. La aviv ule imay lo yitama. A kohen gadol cannot be mitama to his parents, to any of his kroivim. What's the limud? For his father and his mother, he can't be mitama, but there is one place he could be mitama, and that's what lemeis mitzvah. So you needed a pasuk to go ahead and teach me that a kohen, that the nazir could be mitama, because in svara we have a kal v'chaymer that he shouldn't. In svara we have a kal v'chaymer. Geffen, leisim le geffen. It's not seiser. It's not seiser. Nonetheless, why it's not it's like hutim mechlaloi tuma, which is seiser, which is more chomer than gefen, right? Ain't no din there. It should be. However, we have a pasuk to tell me that tuma you couldn't be tabla meismitz. Now, for yayin yutim mechlaloi. Let's go the other way, guys. Now watch. Yayin should be permitted. In other words, in that scenario where you made a shvua to drink wine, you should be able to drink the wine. Why? Kal v'chaymer mituma. Ma tuma. Shehi seiseres. Huchemechlaloi. Tuma, which has the chumra, that it's seiser. Nonetheless, it's muta to mitam lameis mitzvah. Yayin she'ena seiser. Yayin, which is kuladik, right? It's lenient. It's not seiser. Einay din is not a kal v'chaymer. Sheyut mechlaloi. And this is a good kal v'chaymer.
It's yayin because of mitzvah, you're saying.
Right?
Because the yayin is a mitzvah, you're saying.
Again, yeah, it should be.
Again,
yuta mechlala, meaning there should be a hechetimsa. Why would the hechetimsa be? Mitzvah, correct. Amakra, what's stated in the Torah? It says by the Nazir, miyayin v'sheicha yazir. Okay, he goes through the parsha over here. It says miyayin v'sheicha yazir. From yayin means wine. Sheicha means antiquated wine, not beer. Yazir chaymitz yayin v'chaymitz sheicha lo yishteh. The vinegar of wine, the vinegar of antiquated wine, and therefore, why is it teaching me? Why is this teaching me? Less a yayin mitzvah ki yayin v'shus. Miyayin v'sheicha yazir. I guess it's teaching me that what that you should not go ahead but the double lashon and it tells the chana. Right? I guess it's extra. It's extra. Because the pasuk already said, "Mikol sheyasim gefen yayin." The pasuk said earlier, right? Mikol sheyasim gefen yayin. It's not the double lashon, guys. Once you told me anything that comes out of the gefen, some mamela wine and sheikha b'chlal. So it's totally extraneous. Totally extraneous. Good. So now says the pasuk, therefore to asim la'asa yayin mitzvah ki yayin v'shus. Okay, now continuing along again, what are we doing? That it should get the chumis of every other one, right? So yayin should be saisa similar to tuma. Kal v'chaymer mituma. Ma tuma sh'huch mechlalei. Tuma is mutar by meis mitzvah. So says sakol yayin shlei huch mechlalei. Yayin that is asra afil b'makom mitzvah like kol shekain that what she used to that should be saisa. Amakra. So what does the pasuk say? The pasuk says v'hayomim harishonim. Yiplu. It says, "Hizal Hashem es Yemei Nizroi the heavy keves ben shenasei la'asham by yom rishonim, and the first days yiplu kitami nizrog. The first days it is counted, fallen. It's gone. So no, these are all valid kal v'chaimis. No one's slugging up this kal v'chaimis. We're saying you need a pasuk to go ahead and tell me what the din that you learn out of kal v'chaimis. Tak is a good din. And without the pasuk, I'd say you're right. So Kezel will know. It says vayom rishonim yiplu, therefore kitami nizrog. Okay, now how about this? Tumas seiseres ve'ina yayin seis. Okay, only tumas seis and yayin's not. Right about that. Now let's, okay, guys, we dealt with Yayin, we dealt with Tuma. Now let's go ahead and attack Tiglachas, right? Now let's attack Tiglachas. It says the Tiglachas tister es hakol. Tiglachas, guys, is only 30 days, correct? Tiglachas should be Saisa, everything. Kavachoim mituma. Uma Tuma. Shloi asaba mitama kimitame. By Tuma, we do not make the person, right? The other person is kimitame, like the person got tummy. In other words, if you person's a nazir, and a person is mitama the nazir, he's not chayiv. He's not chayiv. So shlei asuba mitama kimitame. We don't wake the mitama, the one is mitama him kimitame, like the nazir himself who gets tame. Saiseres esakol, nonetheless, it's saiser everything. Tiglachas she'asuba migaleach kimiskalach. We make the person who gives him the haircut is chai like the miskalach that the person takes the haircut. Is halacha like that, right? Eino din shetister as a call. In other words, we have a chumrah by haircut, guys. The guy giving the haircut is chai like the nazir who's allowing it to be cut, and by tumah it's not so. So if you have that chumrah, and by tumah it's slice of everything, madach tumah. We don't make the person mitama like the mitamei, but yet it's slice of sakol. Tiglachas, we do make the megalach is like what the kimis galach. Eino din says sakol or makra. By Yom Rishonim Yiplu Ki Temi Nizroi Tumas Seiseres Esakol Vein Tiglachas Seiseres Esakol. The same limud. Right? Only Tum has the capacity to override everything, but not what? Not Tiglachas.
If I'm talking and I touch it, right? Or do something, so I have no issa.
It's Issa. It's Issa, but it's not Malchus. Okay. The Tum Nasa Bo Mitame Kimitama. Oh, so now guys, you know what? Let's make the person who's Mitama him like the Nazir. Kalvachayim mitiglachas. Uma tiglachas. Shenas is elish leishim only says the 30 days. Asa b'megaleach kimisgalach. Right? We go ahead and say that the one who takes the haircut, it's like the one who gets the haircut. Tuma she says seres as that call. Tuma which does slice of everything. Ain't a din shenasa b'matame kimitama. Al makra. The pasuk says v'timei reish nizrei and v'tamei reish nizrei. Right. The pasuk says that what's the lashon? Tuma shir amakra v'timei reish nizrei. And what's the diak? The mitama reish nizrei shall atzmei chayev and not somebody else. The mitama reish nizrei, guys. In other words, his naziris and not someone else's. In other words, again, it's a good kavachayim there. We have a gezeris akosif to tell me. It says the diak over here is v'timei reish nizrei. His naziris. It's limited to him and not what? And not somebody else doing it. Okay. There's the Gemara, but the glachas leinasa b'megaleach miskalach the other way. So therefore, let's say the guy who gives the haircut should be right. It should be not treated. It shouldn't be treated with the same severity as the one who gave the haircut to. Kalachayim mituma, umat tuma she says sakol leyasava mitama ki mitama. The glachas shein esayis to elishleishim yoim like kol shekein leinasa b'megaleach miskalach. On makro, the pasuk says tar loyavar al roishtoi karibei loyavar hu. Layava acher. We read it Layava, period. Not him and not somebody else. Because there's the cost of guys. Because there's the cost of Layava who Layava acher, somebody else. Again, consistently the Gemara is going through logically. Nice Gemara. Tiglachas leitoiser michlala. Tiglachas should not be what? Should not be mutta. Tiglachas, guys, b'mokom what? B'mokom archiv deraisa. Should not be able to. It should be hutta michlala. We said in the Mishnah that taking your haircut is permitted what for another mitzayra. It should be permitted. Kal v'choim miyayin. Ma yayin shein is seiser yayin, which is not seiser anything. Like hutta michlala, it's never mutter even b'makom mitzvah. Tiglachas is seseres 30 days. Ein adin shlei toitim michlala. Amrachmana roishai. his okay, so this is the limit we had. Right? We said that by Mitzayra. It said right by Mitzayra, the lashon of the pasuk was Yigaleach is called Sa'arai. It says you see Megaleach all is here. Es Roishai v'es Ziknai. So therefore, why does it say Roishai and Ziknai? To tell me that what? That you have to take off all his hair. So right, you have to go over here. Says the Gemara, v'tiglachas like tister klau. Tiglachas should not be slicer at all. Kal v'chaim and miyayin. Uma yayin shleichut mechlala. Yayin which never has a shas heter. Ain't a slicer. Tiglachas shehutru mechlala. Tiglachas that what? That is hut mechlalai. Einay din shlei tutin mechlalai. It's not a kalchayim. Tiglacha should not be right. That tiglacha should not be muta in b'makoy mat mitzayra. So that was said. This right shiv ziknai. Says more. Tiglacha say tis the cloud. Let's say tiglacha should not be slicer at all. Kalchayim miyayin. Umayayin shlei hut mechlalai. Ain't a slicer yayin which never has a shas heter because even b'makoy mitzvah you can't drink. All right, but nonetheless, it's not so many days. Tiglachas shehut mechlolei tiglachas b'makam mitzayir, which is muta ain't a din shlei tistar. There shouldn't be slice or anything. Says the Gemara. I'll tell you why. Really, you're right. It shouldn't be, but you need gidul pera.
Right.
How long? You know, maybe it's early, guys. You need to have a chup. How long does it take to grow a chup? 30 days.
I can't do it at all.
Huh?
I can't do it at all.
Okay, it's speaking when you were younger. Speaking when you were younger and you had hair, Baruch Hashem, you know. Okay. Ein adin shlei tista. It says no bein gilul seir to kind of misl giluach v'haleka. Says the Gemara v'yayin yista shleishim yayin. I'll let yayin be sliced for at least 30 days. Kavachayim mitiglachas. Umat tiglachas shut meklolik. Tiglachas which is mutabaya mitzayra. So Saras goes ahead and it's sliced for 30 days if you take a haircut. Yayin shleihuta mechlala yayin, which is never muta in adin sheyistar. Says going midihu taima. What's the reason tiglachas is slicer? Why is tiglachas slicer 30 days? Elam mishum gidul seir is because what you need him to grow his hair, right? The gabay yayin hakayim sarai. Right, yayin is here. That is practically speaking, right? He's got his hair, so it doesn't make a difference. Okay, so you have a nice limud and back and forth to go through the whole thing. Not it's geschmack. Okay. Now we know that there's two parshas of Naziris, right? There's the parsha of what of a Nazir Tahar, there's the parsha of Nazir Tameh. A Nazir who's Tameh, he brings a carbon asham, right? He brings an asham, he has to bring a chattas, and he has to bring an oila, right? And the Nazir who's Tahar brings a chattas and oila and the shlomim, but he doesn't bring an asham. Okay, so how does it work? Tiglachas tuma ketzad. Okay, now every tiglachas tuma, he's going to have to count at least 7 days because he has to get, it's not a nazar tikadin, it's a tamei meis tikadin. In order to get mutter from tamei meis, you need to get spritzed paraduma on day what? Day 3 and day 7. You got to get spritzed paraduma on day 3 and on day 7. So what do you do? He had the paraduma spritzed on day 3, ubashvi and on day 7, umigaleach b'shvi, and then on the 7th day, he takes a haircut. Maybe kabbanis b'shmini. And when does he bring his kabbanis? On day 8. So nazir again, the only guys, there's no tumas sheretz, there's no tumas zov, but the only tumah that we speak about is kiyiplu pesach pesach meis alav tumas meis. Okay, tumas meis in order to hair of shemesh is not going to work. You need what? Paraduma spitz day 3, 7, and on day 7 you go to the mikvah. Now, he's at full yoim. At full yoim does not bring his kabbanis that day. He has to wait. Guys, first mission in Shas. When the Kana eats truma, right, is when the hair shemesh, right? So why did full yoim? Actually brings it's full yoim. You have to wait to have shemesh. So in other words, he can't do anything. He's at full yoim. Full yoim can't bring his kabbanis, right? So he has to. When is he going to bring it? On day 8. He's at full Yom on day 7. He waits till nightfall of Leil Shmini, and Yom Shmini he's going to bring his karbanis for what? For the tumah. That's what he does. Now, then gilach b'shmini. What happens if he takes a haircut on the 8th day? Then maybe carbon noisav by bayoim. Now, l'chari, you had to go to the mikvah on day 7, guys. If he goes to the mikvah on day 8, again, automatically, is it full yoim? You got to chuck it up a day. So again, must have been what? What did he do? He went to the mikvah. He had spritz day 3 and day 7. He went to the mikvah, but he didn't take a haircut on day 7. He took a haircut on day 8. He still can bring his kabbanas on day 8, according to Rabbi Akiva.
Haircut is he take haircut on day 1, and haircut is based on what?
What?
What is haircut based on? What is it with 7?
He had, no, that's the halacha. No, it's the tiglachas. He has to remove his hair. This tiglachas is not tiglachas of a mitzvah. This is tumah. This tiglachas, he has to shave his head.
If it becomes untummy, that's
yeah. There's two. Don't mix up. Don't mix up the. He has to go 30 days of chup afterwards. That's b'taira. That we're not talking about that. We're talking about okay. Now, that's the Mishnah begins. Shrag. Look at the lashon of Mishnah. Tiglachas tumah, right? Don't make that mistake. He's telling you tiglachas tumah. This is the tiglachas of tumah, not the tiglachas of taira. Good. Now, Amalei of Tarfin says of Tarfin, ma bein zel mitzayra. If you're telling me that he can bring his carbon on day 8, then he's no different than a mitzayra. Guys, a mitzayra also, he has a body shave, and then he brings the carbon on day 8. So you're telling me if you give me a carbon on day 8, he's the same as what? As a mitzayra? Amalei says Rabbi Akiva, Zeh tarasei taluya biyamav. Right? This one, the one who is tamei is tali in days. Guys, why is he waiting 7 days? Of course, it takes 7 days to go ahead, right? And no, it's not an Nazir din. It's a tumitik, it's a tumis meistik din. So in other words, once he passes day 7, he's good. However, mitzayra harasei taluya b'teglachtoi. His mitzayra is teglachas. Rabbi Tarfin's of the opinion, fellas, that if you go ahead and megaleach on day 8, you're gonna have to wait till day 9 to bring your carbon. He argues on Rabbi Akiva. So that, in other words, what's this different than mitzvah? So what's he arguing on? Where's he arguing? Right? Look at the second places, guys. Second places. Amr of Tarfin, ma bein zel mitzvah. Sheshamati mimcha. I hear you that you said shenemar b'pashas mitzvah b'tiklachas shniya v'hoya b'yoyim hashvi'i yigaleach es kol sa'aroi. The kibes begodav b'mayim v'tiher u'bayom hashmini yichu shnei kvasim. He brings 2 sheep, the kivsa achas, and 1 female sheep, and he brings 1. And these are the kabbalas of a mitzayra. Shamati umcha the mitzayra yigaleach b'shmini v'yavi kabbanai b'tshi. I heard you on Rabbi Akiva that a mitzayra you say he's galeach on day 8 and he brings a carbon on day 9. If he's megaleach on day 8, guys, if he's megaleach on day 8. Amalei sheseh tarasei taluya b'yamav. The nazir is tali b'yamav. Acha haziyas gimel v'zayin. Right? It's only tali in hazah of 3 and 7. Umitzara tarasei taluya b'tiglachas. Af ki taval b'zayin tzarich lifol pam acheretz. Even if he's toivel for the tumas on day 7, it doesn't make a difference. He's going to have to go be toivel. Why? Acha giluach after his body shave. Then kain have it full yoim. Therefore, he's full yoim if he took the body shave on day 8. Adches, Nikrit full yom, and maybe Kabbanasa. Elam Kain, Ahoya more of Shemesh. Guys, very gishmak. Outside. Guys, outside. Look at me. Outside. Rabbi Akiva, you're a Nazir. You were tummy. You went ahead and here's what you should have done. You should have, on day 7, after day 3 spritz and a day 7 spritz, what you should have done is day 7, gone to the mikvah. You had full yom on day 8. Day 8 comes, you bring a Kabbanis. That's the protocol according to everybody. Says Rabbi Akiva, if you go ahead, go to the mikvah on day 7, and you take your haircut on day 8, you still can bring what? Your karbanos on day 8. Good. Mitzayra, if you would do that, in other words, Mitzayra, you should go ahead and take your haircut on day 7 and bring your karbanos on day 8. What happens by Mitzayra if you take your haircut on day 8, right? Then you're gonna have to wait till day 9. Good. Freg Reb Tarfin to Rabbi Akiva, what's the difference? By Nazir, if he waits to day 8, you're telling me still can be his kabbanis. Yet by Mitzayra, if he takes a haircut on 8, he has to wait to 9. What's the difference? Says Rabbi Akiva, a very geschmacka difference, guys. I'll tell you geschmacka difference. by Nazir. Why does he do, what's the 7 days? It's not 7 days. In other words, really, he should be able to, ostensibly, hypothetically, be able to bring his carbon right away. Why can't he? Because he's coming to his mace. In other words, his purification has nothing to do with his haircut. It has everything to do with the fact that he's tamei for 7 days. Once he takes care of that, I don't care when he takes a haircut. So if he takes the haircut on day 8, bring your carbon on day 8, as long as you went to the mikvah and you're not at full yoin. However, a mitzayra, guys, he has to go to the mikvah after he takes a haircut. So what happens on day 8? Here's what the mitzayra should have done. Day 7, he should have gone ahead, taken a haircut, gone to the mikvah, and brought his karbanos on day 8. That's what he should have done. He didn't do that. Right? He didn't do that. He went to the mikvah on day 7. You're right. Came day 8, he took a haircut. You know what he's got to do? He's got to go to the mikvah again. Why? Because it's totally b'tiglachas. Once you go to the mikvah, you're as puzzle for that day. You're at fliyim. Therefore, you have to go to day 9. That's what Rabbi Kiva told him. It's a big difference. It's not just 8, 9. It's not a numbers game. There's a svara, very strongest svara over here. The lashon again says the Gemara. Amalei said Rabbi Akiva to Tarfin zeh tarasa t'li b'yamav. The Nazar, his entire is totally in days. And therefore, since he counted 7 days, he's good. As long as he's not wired, it's full yoim. Umitzayra tarasai talib teglachtoi. Umitzayra, his tyra, depends upon when he takes the haircut. And when he takes the haircut, he's got to go to the mikvah. Right? Then any maybe carbon elam kain what? Hayamur shemesh. He can't bring his carbon. Why? Because he has the hair shemesh. Beautiful difference, guys. Guys, good schmack? You would be good. Great. Good ideas to know. Okay. Now, kibble minei oiloi. Now you finished the Mishnah. You didn't have a Gemara. What would you say? Who's got the winning hand? Rabbi Kiva, right? The question. Did Rabbi Tarfim Makabel Rabbi Kiva told him or not? Kibble minei oiloi. Toshma, the Tani Hillel. This is not the Tani Hillel, guys. This is the Amoyer Hillel. Tani Hillel. Gilach b'shmini. If you take a haircut on the 8th day, maybe karbonosa bitshi. He brings karbonos on the right. He brings karbonos on the 9th. And we're speaking here about a what? About a l'chayra. We're speaking here about a nazir, or else basiraya. Because Rabbi Akiva is moida about the 8th. V'isal kedaitach kiblaminei leisi karbonosa b'shmini. Now Bishlemi, you tell me, guys, Rav Tarfin wasn't makabel from him. We have a tana of this brisa. But if you're going to tell me Rav Tarfin was makabel from him, then who in the world would hold? You would go ahead and eat day 9. As long as you went to the mikvah on day 7, you're home free on day 8. Yet you have a nazir, and it's saying you have to wait till day 9. So Bishleim, if you tell me Rav Tarfin wasn't makabel, I got a tana of the brisa. It's Rav Tarfin. But if you tell me he was makabel, who's the tana over here, right? It's Kishmak. Why are you waiting till day 8? Day 9. Amarava, like Kasha, it's not a problem. You know what? You know why you got to wait till day 9, guys? Why? Tell me why. He went to the mikvah on day 8. When did he do it on day 8? He went to the mikvah on day. But what happens if he goes to the mikvah on day 8? Everyone's moida. You have to wait to day 9. Why? Erev Shemesh. Guys, geschmack. Okay. A little for next piece of Gemara. You need a nice introduction. I should have given you a picture of the Harabayas, but I didn't. Okay. You have in the Midbar, guys, there were 3 machnas. There was the Mishkan, the Machna Shechina. There was the area around it, Levium and Camp Machna Levia. And beyond that was Machna Yisrael. There's a mitzvah of Shiluach Min HaMachna, depending on the status of a person. So if a person had a tumah that came from their body. So we have 3, I'll give you 3 tumahs that come from the body. 1, the simple one is keri, semen. 2, zav. 3, mitzayra. Mitzayra comes from the body. I mean, it's a tumah that comes from the body. You got this zav. A zav is similar to keri, but it's not the same. It's more viscous. It's the color is different. We don't have zav. Okay, so now you have those 3. If the tumah is from the body, you have to leave the two machnas. You have to leave machna Shechina and machna Levia. Good. The only one that leaves all three is the Mitzayra. Mitzayra will leave even all three. Boda Yeshev Chutz LeMachna, he even leaves Machna Yisrael. Good. If a person is Tamei Tumas Mace, or even the Mace himself is only outside Machna Shechina, he would be allowed in Machna Levia. Tamei Mace, because again, it's external Tumah. It's not an internal Tumah. That would be less, even though Tamei Mace is Avi Avos HaTumah, a Mace itself. Nonetheless, regarding Shiluach, guys, only, so again, very important. Mace, only one Machna. Zav, Zava, Yoledes, and Mitzayra, all three. Okay, that's one halacha. Where is that's in the midbar, guys? What about us? What about the Bisman Abayis? Where's Machna Shechina? So, guys, it's the Beis Hamikdash up until the Azara of Shar Niknar. Picture yourself walking into the Beis Hamikdash. You have the Harabayis, the Ezras Nashim, and all the way up to Shar Niknar. That was the eastern gate. That when you opened it up, you were in the Azara proper. Good. Up until there, okay, Yerushalayim is Machna Yisrael. The Harabayis up until Shar Niknar was Machna Levia. And the Beis Hamikdash itself, from the oil made inside, is what is Machna Shechina. Good. So that's the now. A Zov would not be allowed into the Harabayis. Yerushalayim, yes, but Harabayis not. Good. Good. So with that, Hakdama, let's begin. Says the Gemara. Amar Abaya, Ashchasinu lechavre, the Rav Nosson bar Hoshaya, the Yasimu Ka'amin. They were sitting and were saying the following. And the pasuk says, "Zubiyoy mashmini yikach lo yishtei soirim." This is speaking about the nazir that's tamei. He brings two birds. Shnei b'nei yaina. This is speaking. Actually, it's speaking about the zav. The zav. Yavei mishmai she'enoi rishai lo ad ayon. Okay, now, so this is speaking, guys, about a zav, and the pasuk tells us that the zav is going to bring two birds. Now, there's two parshas of zav. There's a zav that is who saw two riyos. He has to cleanse himself for 7 days. Not with paraduma. He just 7 days. Shiva Nikiyim, but he doesn't have to bring a carbon. A zav bal shalosh riyos, 3 riyos. He has to 7 days, and he has to bring karbonis. This is describing the zav who saw 3 riyos. So what does it say? It says that on this, he would go ahead and he would bring, and this has nothing to do with Gemara, guys. This is the whole new thing. He would bring the day that the zav come cleans after he counts 7 days. He washes himself. He go to the mikvah, and he brings on the 8th day. He brings 2 birds. Right. Hashem el Pesach el Mayed. He goes lifnei Hashem, guys, which is Shar Niknar. So, guys, he's on the Har HaBayis, meaning he's on Machna Levia. He's on Machna Levia. Now, Emisai who? When does the Zav ba bisman shehu tavo? When does he come? He had to be toivel yesterday, right? He had to be toivel yesterday, right? For us, now us erev shemesh, and they had erev shemesh. In other words, smash from here at full yoim is not allowed on Harabayis. In other words, he would not be allowed into Machna Levia. Again, a Zav is not allowed in Machna Levia. He goes on the 8th, 7th day. He went to the mikvah. You have to count the 7 days. He waited for nightfall, and now on the 8th day, where he's no longer at full yoim, the chari is allowed on Machna Levia. Okay, now bisman shu tavel b'as erev shemesh in loy tavel b'as erev shemesh loy. But what happens? What if he wasn't tavel? Then he's tavel only on the 8th day. Then he would not be allowed to go up there, right? He wouldn't allowed to go up there. So now, Alma, what can we deduce from the Eksavar? Full yoim shel zav kizav dami. A full yoim of a zav is like a zav. In other words, yeah. Here's the given, guys. Let's go outside, guys. Look at me outside. A zav, if he 7 days, he's outside 2 machnas. In other words, he can't come up to Harabayis. He can't. We need him on day 8 to come Harabayis and bring his kabbanis. He's got to bring to the Beis Hamikdash. Good. He's not allowed. Now, what happened is Dafka, if you went to the mikvah on day 7, can he come up? Because once they say he went to the mikvah on day 7, on day 8, no longer is it full yoim. Good. Mashma, if he goes to the mikvah on day 8, so there's no difference between a full yoim and a zav. He still would not be allowed to come up. That's the discussion that Abaya found them having regarding a full yoim. That a full yoim of his zav is like a zav. How do you know he's like a zav? He's not allowed into Machna Levia. He's not allowed into the Beis Hamikdash. And into the Harabayas. He's not allowed Harabayas. That's what he found him saying, that he's not allowed in Harabayas. Now, says Abaya, Amina lahoinana. And I told him, Elamiyata, if you're going to tell me now, guys, the pasuk says, the pasuk's meduyik, it says, guys, this here's the key. Lifnei Hashem, what does Lifnei Hashem mean? I typed this Shar Niknar, right? El Pesach Oil Moed, to the opening of the Moed, which is Shar Niknar. If you open Shar Niknar, that's the Pesach. After Shar Niknar is the Oil Moed. That's the Yisrael, that's the Kahanim, that's where the Mizbeach is. That Azara. That's the Oil Moed. So you see that the Zav, you tell me, be medayik from the words, where can he go up to? If he beyond Shmini, if he went to the mikvah, he can go up to that place. If he went to the mikvah. Now, what does it say about a Nazir, guys? Listen to this. Ubayayim Shmini, Yavi Shtei Soirim, Shnei Bnei Yoina. This is the Nazir who's Tamei. El Pesach Oyel Moyed. It says to the opening of the Oyel Moyed. So it's mashma a Nazir that what is Tamei on day 8 could go up to the Pesach Oyel Moyed, right? Now, what tumah did the Nazir have, guys?
Me.
So
he should be able to walk in his manner.
Guys, if he's Tamei Tumas Meis, forget it's full yain. He's allowed up there anyway. Guys, one more time. Remember, there's a kula of Tamei Meis that doesn't exist by Zav. Since the Tamei does not come ahead and come out of his body, it's not Yotzim and Aguf, he's allowed, even when he's Tamei Tumas Meis, he's allowed up in the Harabayas. He's allowed there. So you're telling me the following. When it says Al Pesach Ol Moed by the Zav at full Yom, guess what? Only day 8 after he went to the mikvah can get up there. But if he didn't go to the mikvah, he can't. So if you're going to darshan that drasha Pesach Ol Moed, let's go ahead and let's view another next Tamei. In a million years, can you tell me that also means that a full Yom of a Nazar is not allowed up there? He'd be allowed up there even if it's Tamei. The Mace himself is allowed up there. It's Geshmak Kasha. Geshmak Kasha, guys. Let's see inside. So I mean, I said fun. Elamiyata. If you're telling me the destruction of Pesach Al Moed, Gabi Nazir Tamei, it also says, and now what are you going to tell me over here? Where can he come? Dafka wap is man shetavel? V'yasa erev shemesh? I'm an aleph. Dafka what? 1 second. You're going to tell me he's only allowed up there when? After he went to the mikveh and had erev shemesh? When? How can you say the michte? Shar niknar heiche kaima. Where's Shar niknar, guys? Right, Niknar is B'Shar Levia. Niknar was the person, the doors were made of bronze. Good morning, Yuma. They floated out. There was the Meister Ness of Niknar. He brought these beautiful doors, and the ship was sinking. And he went ahead and they threw off one to alleviate the weight, and they were going to go ahead and throw out the other one. And he wrapped himself on and says, "Throw me in also." And it stopped. And when they got to the Port of Yaffo, the other one floated out from underneath. And they established that floated out from underneath the ship. And they put that as the doors. The Shan Nikna. Okay? So now, this is Geshmak Kasha. Really, it's a Lamdish Geshmak Kasha, right? Yeah. No. So now, Michti, Shari Nikna Hechi Kaimin, B'Shar Levia. It's in Shar Levia. But Tanya, Tamei Meis, Muta Lekanis Mach Levia. But like Tamei Meis Bavad, Afilu Meis Atzmai. Shenemar, Vayikach Moshe Es Atzmai Yosef Imai. Ma Imai, Imai Michitzase. Guys, Moshe was a Levi. So where did Moshe live? Mach Levia. Who did he have with him? He had Yosef. He had a mason there. So if you're going to dash no Pesach Ol Moed by Zav to tell me you're not allowed there, full Yom is not allowed up there, and you're going to say the same drasha by Nasa Tamei, the only tumah that a Nasa has what is Tamei Mace, and the Mace himself is allowed up there. So it's very schwer.
There was a bomb when they said they embalmed Atzis Yosef in cement. And they put it in the thing. The whole thing came up with the cement.
No, it doesn't seem like that. Again, I don't know what it came up with the cement, but that's Miss Yosef is that's Miss
They
Yosef.
wanted to go to the bottom of the water, right?
Yeah, Ali sure. I know. Anyway, Ella says so. As it says Abaya, guys. Full Yom Shel Zav, change the Gersa, guys. Full Yom Shel Zav is Lav Kizav Dami. He doesn't have a din of a Zav, right? He doesn't have a din of a Zav. You know why? Because we're speaking about a Zav that did have to bring a carbon, a 2-day Zav. We're speaking about a Zav that did not have to bring a carbon. He's a 2-day Zav. So therefore what? He's allowed up there. Why? Why not? No, it's still Vafilu Hachi, even though, right? In other words, so if he doesn't have to bring a carbon, he's not Mechus Kippurim, he's not lacking a kapara, and therefore he's more to the to Machna Levia. And even so, that even though if you tell me Vafilu Hachi, even Shemechus Kapara, a regular Zav, it can't go on. Okay, guys, I'm sorry. There's two dinim of his. There's two reasons that Zav should not be allowed up there. One, because he's a Tful Yoim, and Tful Yom can't go up there, Tful Yom of a Zav. Or two, he's missing karbonis. There are certain tumis that until you can be tahar, but you can't eat kachim. A yoledes, she can't eat kachim until she brings a karbonis. A mitzayra can't eat kachim until he brings a karbonis. A zav who saw 3 times can't eat kachim because it's mechus kapara. So you know what the reason it says that you're not allowed up there, a full yom of a zav of 2 riyas you are. It's the fact that you're mechus kippurim. If you're a zav of 3 riyas, that's stopping you from going up there. The fact that you have to bring your karbonis, and that's the reason you can't go up. Oh, no, we'll see. Let's see. The Gemara says no, you can't be up there if you don't go to the mikvah. You didn't go to the mikvah. Ella says the Bible. Full yom shel zav of 2 riyas kizav dami. He's not like a zav. Filu hachi. And the full yom of a zav is lav, because when the Brisa says, when is that? He said the Brisa said if he went to the mikveh, yes, not. This is speaking when he didn't go to the mikveh. In other words, a full yom of a 3. If he went through the produce, of course he's allowed up there. You see kasha? So that's the din. Shekivin the mechusa kipura, since he's missing his kapara, he has to bring his karbanis, right? What's the din? It's like ayel, he can't go up there. So again, outside guys. Full yoim of his that saw twice is allowed up there on Machal Levia, no problem. A full yoim, a guy who didn't go to the mikvah, then he's not. When it said he's only if he goes to the mikvah he's allowed up there, is what speaking about it has to be his karbanis. So it's not. It's the fact that he has to bring his kapara, and therefore that full yoim is ma'akim because he can't bring his kapara until if he's full yoim. He's not allowed up there. Says the Gemara. Okay, now you're telling me a mechusa kipara, merach leviakoi. Let's say he's a mechusa kipara. He's come to me as karbanis, and b'mach leviakoi. So he's also mashna shchina. So on my kokorile, what does it say? Bolaf ne Hashem al pesach al mayit. You're telling me, guys, that this zav is a person that is you're calling it al pesach al mayit. It's not pesach al mayit. Pesach al mayit is the shchina itself. You're telling me it's mach levia, right? Why is it called a Pesach oil mayed? Remember, ma chasam by the oil mayed, which is machna shchina michusa kapara le'ayla. A person michusa kapara can't come in. After machna levia nami michusa kapara le'ayla. So too, the machna levia michusa kapara cannot come in before Erev Shemesh. So again, we make a comparison. Why do you say el Pesach oil mayed, guys? Really, it's machna levia. Why do you say Pesach oil mayed? We're comparing, just like a michusa kapara, guys, can't come into the shchina. No one can. Only a kohen can go in there, right? So just like a person is, he went to the mikveh and everything. He had a Erev Shemesh and everything. He's not allowed into the machna shchina, right? Because he's mechusa kapara. So too, a mechusa kapara of a tful yoim is not allowed a machna levia. So too, mechusa kapara, who is the full yoim, is not allowed a machna levia. But hasam inalan, how do you know that a mechusa kapara can't come into machna shchina? Guys, you could go into the azar if you had to for smicha. You did smicha on the carbon. It's not like Yisrael was never in there. I'm saying, so how do you know mechusa kipar is not allowed into the Tanya? It says in regarding it says by a mace, tamei mace. Kol negei b'mace b'nefesh adam asher yomas leischata. You didn't have the paradum spritzed on you. As a mishkan Hashem timei v'nichus nefesh himi ameha, because he's going to be chayv karis if he goes into the base of Mikdash. He may need the leizarek alav. Tamei what is Tamei Yiyeh? Tamei he shall be. The rabbi's Tful Yoim. That it's also for a Tful Yoim to go in Machna Shechina. And then it says Oy Tumasoi Boy. The rabbi is Mechusa Kapara. The Mechusa is not allowed to Machna Shechina. So very fascinating Gemara, right? This is a whole thought again. So let's walk away with the idea. The only one who's not allowed to Machna Levia is the people. It's the Yitzhak Ben Aguf. Mitzayra is a field outside 3 Machnas. And Tumas Mace guys is allowed into Machna Levia. So the Bisman is there. We say you can't go up to Harabayas, right? Why not? Why not? What's the problem? Because you don't know where it ends. Harabayas you're allowed to, but you don't know where the Harabayas goes to the Machna Shechina.
Some people are mocking not to stick their finger into the wall. You're not reaching the place where.
Again, I'm telling you, the people that the whole Torah with Harabayas, that people go up there, right? The people think it's Tamei Mace, and it's not totally right. Tamei Mace is allowed in the Harabayas. The question is, where does the Harabayas end and where does Machna Shechina begin? And okay, so and the halach is Tful Yoim, right? The Tful Yoim is be'emes. The Tful Yoim, if he doesn't have to be karbanis, right, of his zav, would be allowed to Machna Levia. The reason the Tful Yoim that discussing over here, you're not allowed Machna Levia. Speaking about one resting his kabbanis, and a person who's kapara who's not Tful Yoim, he has to wait till the next day after his Tful Yoim to go ahead and